everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bonnie, and I just want to say that I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you. Now, I want to share this because the things that I post on this platform are tools that God used to help me to overcome trauma in my life and also to help me be set free so that I could walk a Christian life with Him. Now, my story may be overwhelming to some of you, and my story also may not even compare or come close to what some of you have had to go through. Years ago, God told me that I was a teacher, and I would argue back and say, I'm not a teacher. I remember one time I pulled into a church parking lot. I was attending a women's event at my old church, and I pulled in and I heard him again say, "You're a teacher." And I snapped back at him and I said, "I am not a teacher." And he said, "Why are you arguing with me about this?" And I said, "Because I don't have a high education. I have no letters behind my name." And he said, "You're not going to need to teach out of a level of education, and you don't need any letters behind your name." He said, "You are going to teach out of your experiences with me." And he said, "I want you to teach women how to have a personal and intimate relationship with me." I knew that day that I was a teacher. I accepted the call of my life, and that's what this platform truly is all about. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to share some of those traumas with you. But before we do that, I want to say this. I don't want to focus on the darkest days or the pain of my trauma, but instead, I want to focus on the rescue, the healing, and the transformation that happened. I want to share with you how Jesus unraveled all that darkness and all of that pain so that I could walk in beautiful freedom. Many years ago, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. Now, I didn't realize the impact that this would have on me until many years later in my adult life. When I was a kid as a Jehovah's Witness, when everyone else stood to salute our beautiful flag, I had to stay sitting. When everyone else was having a party to celebrate a holiday, right before the party started, I had to leave and go to the library. I got teased and bullied in school and on my school bus because of this, and I knew that I was different, not as good as all of them. I became insecure. I felt rejected, stupid, forgotten, uninvited, and not good enough. Another thing that was happening in my childhood at that time was childhood molestation. Now, this also went on for many years by someone outside of our family that had come into our home. I can't tell you the exact time frame, but after years of counseling as an adult, I had a very vivid memory that I was young enough to still sleep with a baby doll and stuffed animals. This added more insecurities, rejection, self-hatred, worthlessness, shame, and blame. These traumas would later in life cause me to cycle in and out of one bad decision after another. I was a complete train wreck, and I hated myself. This caused me also to cycle in and out and back into one abusive relationship after another. They cheated on me, they hit me, kicked me, abused my children, held me captive, held guns to my head, threatened me, isolated me, controlled me, and brainwashed me. Now, I don't want to portray myself as innocent in all of these relationships. I was broken and they were broken. I had my faults as well, and especially before I knew Christ. But these cycle This cycle of abusive relationships went on for many, many years. After getting out of the last and final toxic relationship, I felt myself mentally, emotionally, and physically drained. I had hit a rock bottom, and I was in my darkest moments. I was alone, and so lost, and so desperate for an answer. I remember one evening I was by myself and I was having one of those gut-wrenching cries, and I just remember looking up and just crying out to God and saying, Lord, what is it in me that continues to choose the same person or the same kind of person over and over again? This is what he said to me. He said, it's a false belief that you have about yourself. He said, you believe that you are worthless, and so you choose people that treat you that way. I was undone by this revelation and this new understanding. This would start a 5-year journey to discover who I was in Christ, to reprogram my mind, to climb out of habitual sin, and to learn how to stop running back to abuse and things that are familiar, and instead to start running towards Jesus and his embrace. I want to end by saying this. First, I want to say, moving forward in this channel, I want to share so many ways that God helped me to overcome this cycle, these cycles that I was in. I was struggling, and it was so dark, and I was, in this cycle that I didn't feel I could come out of. But I sit here before you today as a free woman, free in Christ, free because of Christ. And so moving forward on this channel, when I share something, I want to share it as an encouragement to you. That's what he called me to do, to teach out of my experiences and to encourage others in their walk with him so that they can also find freedom as well. This is what I want to end with. I want to say this. If I teach you something on this channel, it's because I had to learn it first. If you're hurting and you're struggling, I've been there too. If things seem hopeless and dark, I understand. But I also want to say, here's the good news. You don't have to stay that way. God can touch your life. Jesus can change everything because of an intimate and personal relationship with him. He can unravel your pain and take your deepest, darkest moments and transform them so you also can walk in complete, beautiful freedom. Thank you so much for joining me. It was such a blessing to have you here today. Thank you for listening to my story, and I look forward to sharing many more encouraging videos on the ways that I came out of some of these old patterns. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I will see you soon.